Hello, everyone. Look at me. Merry Christmas. I mean, okay, it's the 22nd as I'm filming this, so it's not really Christmas, but work with me here. We're trying our best. I am so happy well, okay, I'm not happy because I don't have the energy to be happy. I am out of energy. I am depleted. I'm done. I have reached my limit. I'm at my limit because the last 2 weeks have been unparalleled, unparalleled in the amount of energy I had to give for them. The amount of work, the classes, just I am physically drained. But you know what? It's over now. The nightmare is over. I can rest, relax, and concentrate on what really matters this Christmas season, and that is the fact that I can just not think for like at least until after New Year's. That's my plan. And then afterwards, I'm gonna have to grind again. So we're not gonna think about that because that's not in the Christmas spirit, which is really weird because I was in the Christmas spirit like heavily halfway through December. I was listening to Christmas songs, I was decorating, I was like in it. And now, after these 2 weeks, I'm just not there. But I'm sure that when I get home, when I see the Christmas tree at my parents' house, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so Christmassy. I'm gonna make sure to put on Christmas music because that's just what gets me into it. Like, there's nothing that gets me happier than Christmas music. But I digress. We will talk about everything Christmas today. We're gonna really get into it, get into the nitty gritty, get into the anxiety that may happen, but also the good stuff, and also the planning, and also the good vibes of Christmas, because that's what it's all about. It's about family most of the time. You know, if you're good, like, I'm grateful enough to have a family in which I feel like every holiday is wonderful and I get to spend very quality time with my parents and I love them very much. But it's about love, and it's about happiness, and it's about rest, and it's about good food, and it's about good times. It's about connection and feeling good in a moment where we're not really feeling good. It's seasonal depression time. It's cold, it's dark, it's disgusting, and we just need something to cheer our spirits. Here it is. Also, like, look how cute. It's like a big mug with a peppermint and a gingerbread man. Shut the hell up. Um, I would put on Christmas music for this podcast episode, but let's be really honest right now. Can we? No, because there's such a thing as copyright infringement, and I don't want to get copyrighted. That's probably my biggest fear, is to get some kind of weird like warning from YouTube or from Spotify to be like, hey, you're breaking the rules. That is my biggest fear. Even though I regularly swear, but I don't think swearing is a big deal after like the 30-second mark. That's what I heard. That's what I heard through the grapevine. Don't quote me on that, but apparently after the 30-second mark you're good. I'm not wearing makeup. I just showered. I'm not about to wear makeup today. Today is not the day to wear makeup. I am exhausted. The only, like, talking is like breathing for me. It's, it goes. That's why I've managed to keep this up for such a long time. It just happens. Talking, I can talk all day. Can I stand up from my chair? That is a whole other ordeal. And I'm looking at a pile of laundry that I have to do, and it's just a lot of fun things. We truly love. I want to talk about some things I did this week before we get into the Christmassy vibes. I spent my 9-month anniversary with my boyfriend, and we had like a whole weekend. I went to a Versace exhibition with him at the local museum, and then we also went to a DC exhibition about the DC comics, all the superheroes. There was like original illustrations, the original costumes used in the movies, just history about how it was made and how it came about, and it was really interesting to learn about. It also solidified the ideals of like an Americanized media lifestyle, like how Superwoman and Superman and Captain America. Fuck no. That is Marvel, which we also want. I really would like to have a Marvel exhibition, please, but we're not talking about Captain America. But you know, the whole American culture with the red, white, and blue was always a little bit camp for me, a lot intense. But it was still nice to learn about it. And I mean, hey, it's an American thing, so what can I expect? Genuinely, what can I expect? We also went to this fancy ass restaurant because I was feeling I was in the giving mood. It's the season of giving. And I took us to a really cute like a really nice restaurant at a rooftop in the city, and you could see the whole city and the lights because it was dark and everything, and it was gorgeous. And we had an amazing meal, really good wine. Really good wine. I am rekindling my love with dessert wine. Dessert wine is very sweet most of the time, but it just hits so good. It's so good. Speaking of alcohol, I am getting a tiramisu Baileys for Christmas dinner because I need a drink. I need a drink. I'm allowed to say it. I'm 18 now. I have been 18 for 3 months. I can say this. I need a drink. I need a nice glass of Bailey's on the rocks. So do with that what you will, and I hope you can have some Bailey's on the rocks this Christmas season, if you so choose, if you so like, and if it's legal for you. I know my little American friends are really sad that they have to wait until 21. I'm not even gonna get into it. The fact that you get to drive a car at 16, but you can't drink until you're 21. But can you smoke at 18? Like, these are I'm so flabbergasted. 21 years old. I mean, whatever, it's 3 years. You're 3 years in college. I thought I had it rough having 7 days of being 17 in college. Y'all got your own issues. No, just no. It's like if people suddenly reverse legalization of weed in Amsterdam. It's like, and the logic is, it's not like people are gonna stop. Anyways, and at that restaurant, we had, drum roll please, because this is amazing, we had A5 Wagyu beef. For all my ladies who love meat, Wagyu beef, especially A5 Wagyu beef, is one of the best meats there ever was, because I've tasted a lot of meat, that's what she said, and I genuinely can't eat another piece of meat without thinking about that Wagyu beef. I've had a little bit of meat lately, and it just doesn't hit the same. It was literally 2 pieces this big of this beef, and it's the highest quality that you can get outside of Japan, because Japan, you know, keeps the best of the best there, because obviously, I mean, hello, where's the profit if you don't? And it's also very difficult to make, and it requires a lot of preparation and raising the cow and everything. So obviously they're not gonna, whatever. But anyways, it was like marbled. You could see the marbling on the meat so beautifully. Like, I've never seen a pattern like that on a piece of meat. And it tasted, tasted fatty and juicy, and it was also meaty. It wasn't too much fat, not too much meat. And honestly, it was the perfect serving size. Like, you'd think 2 small pieces like this would be small, but it was just enough, because it's a very rich piece of meat. So I can imagine that if you had like a huge steak of this, you would be incredibly sick by the end of it, because it is just such a rich meat. It's a lot of fat, but just a lot of flavor in general. But it was just beautiful, and I highly recommend, if you can get this anywhere, if you have the opportunity to do so, please do. It's an experience, and I was so happy and grateful that I could eat something like this of such high quality and well prepared with love and care. But yeah, we had some Wagyu beef. We went to the movies. We watched 2 movies. We watched Avatar, the new Avatar in 3D. It was some good shit. I've seen a lot of commentary on Avatar. I love the new movie. The plot line, like I didn't expect that much from the plot line. So it wasn't like I was disappointed. Sure, there could have been good things like or better things about it, but the visuals and the cinematography and the editing was just mwah, chef's kiss. And we also saw Pulp Fiction because surprisingly, I've never seen Pulp Fiction before. And that is a good movie. That's a like guys, you're correct. Thank you so much. I love Quentin Tarantino, but for some reason I've never watched Pulp Fiction. It's always been on my list, and finally I got to watch it, and it was like what can we like what can we say? It's so fucking good. So I highly recommend if you haven't watched it. Literally all my friends have watched it, and I've watched so many movies. I don't know how I've never whatever. I'm disappointed in myself is what I'm trying to say. But I'm happy I got out of that bad phase of my life, the non Pulp Fiction phase. And just for the record, I will be taking a break from this podcast until I get home. So that would probably be around the 20th of January. Around there. Just so you know, I don't know if you're expecting me to, I don't know if you're itching for these episodes, but just so you know, I will be taking a break because I need it. And I am gonna come back better than ever, baby, and hopefully next year, see you next year, shut up, hopefully next year I can have more guests onto the podcast, because I've truly been thinking about that, and just more fun stuff. Maybe I'll be more energized, ready to tackle the day. So yeah, just so you know. Let's get into this though. I want to talk about the beautiful things about Christmas, because there's so much beauty in Christmas, and let's start it off on a good note. The lights, the family, the food, seeing the beauty of like so much effort is being put into these lights right now. Whenever I go, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that. Whenever I go, like out in my hometown, it's 2 hours away. Whenever I'm out in my hometown or here, like in my university town, haha, the lights are so beautiful, and it just makes it like, even if everything's dark at 4 p.m., you have the lights to light your way up, and to lighten the mood, if you will. Being with my family is also like a thing. Like I just enjoy the whole. It gives me a lot of nostalgia because we do have a lot of traditions, which I will get into, but the whole tradition thing, and I dress up like this on Christmas ever since I was a little child, and I will continue doing that until I'm like 90. It just adds on to everything. All the Christmas trees, the presents, buying presents. I love buying gifts for people and giving gifts to people, thinking of all the little things I can do for them, kind of like show them that I've listened to them throughout the year, show them that I care in a way. And I'm happy I have the opportunity to buy a Christmas present that is like good and shows that I care. But I feel like even if you don't have the money per se, or the thought process per se, to think of the perfect present, there's always things like you can make something, you can put your time and effort into something, you can go out for a drink, go out for dinner, quality time. Like there's so many things that you can do depending on the person, that just lights up their day, and it's just great and amazing. And the food, again, I'm going to talk about traditions, but it makes me so happy because it's the type of food that I have once a year, but that's what makes it so special. I feel like if I eat like oatmeal every day. If I had oatmeal for Christmas dinner, I won't be mad, but it would certainly make it less of a special event. So I do love the event-based foods that come with Christmas. And I love the fact that I get a break from school. I think we all should get a break, at least a week, or at least until after New Year's, to just reset, recuperate, have our mind blank for a bit, because otherwise we do have the risk of burnout. And I feel like I'm definitely gonna burn out if I do homework immediately after Christmas or immediately when I get home. So it is that little break to spice everything up. Your body is getting better, your brain is getting better, your mental health is significantly getting better. Music and the cliche movies, like they're not something I would never watch a Christmas movie if it weren't on Christmas. Like, what is the point? It's so cliche. There's no plot point, but the whole vibe. And honestly, sometimes when a Christmas movie is super cringy, love that. Love when, like, it's just, you don't want to think. You're on your break. You don't want to think. You don't want to use your brain. Yeah, maybe I'll think about like how bad one movie was during the rest of the year, but on Christmas, we don't think about all the little things a movie is missing. We think of what it is giving, and it is giving Christmas. Cookies, making a Christmas cookie, making it into a gingerbread shape. Shut up. All the little things. Hot cocoa. I never have hot chocolate. One, because I'm lactose intolerant, but you could make vegan hot chocolate if you tried hard enough. But two, because hot chocolate just is a Christmas thing. For me, I just can't have a hot chocolate any other time of the day or any other time of the year, because I would rather have a coffee. But on Christmas, little hot chocolate with a little cookie, it genuinely lifts my spirits. And the sweaters, like, we fashion goes out the window on Christmas for me. Not that, as you can see on this podcast, not that the fact I'm like fully decked out in what Prada, no, but like, hello, I still put a little bit of thought, just a bit, into my outfits. But on Christmas, we're going camp, we're going all out. I don't care how ugly. The uglier, the merrier. That's what I say. However, and here we get into some of the anxieties of Christmas. I have intense anxiety about buying presents. As much as I love giving presents, the process of thinking about what to buy people has been nagging me. Absolutely, I cannot think. Period. Or especially now that I'm celebrating with my boyfriend's family as well, like, I have to get presents for like 5 more people than I usually do. So it's these 5 people that I don't really know that much about. I spend a lot of time with my boyfriend, but I don't spend a lot of time with his brother. So it's like, what do I even get him? And it's just a lot of, especially my father. My dad wants nothing. My dad has never said a single thing about wanting something. Stop being humble and start being practical. I need to know. Like, this man, what can I, like, alcohol, like a whiskey or a chocolate, like, done. We're done. Maybe a beer glass, but he already has his favorite beer glass because he will not use another beer glass. So I doubt that if I give him a new beer glass, he's ever going to use it. Last year I gave him whiskey stones, which was big brain of me. It was such a good idea. Man loves whiskey. Plus, now it isn't watery when you want to ice it on the rocks. Beautiful stuff. That was a good one from me. He was very happy to see that. I was like, thank you. I did have to go on a website about presents for men, so I did stoop to that level, but I was out of ideas. I was like, what does this 50-year-old man want? What do 50-year-old men like? Men like, he plays video games, but like, ooh, I'm not about to buy him a new video game because I don't know what he wants, or if he even wants a new video game. He's an enigma. He's a puzzle that I can never solve, and it gives me intense anxiety. Also, like, when you are getting a present from somebody and they're all staring at you, waiting for your, like, big reaction, and you're just like, yeah. Especially if you don't, like, crazy love the present. Like, obviously, I'm grateful that somebody even gave me a present in the first place. I don't really expect anything. To be honest, I have everything that I want, and I'm already grateful for that. So it's like, I don't need anything specifically. But if it's like something like, I don't know, somebody doesn't know I'm lactose intolerant and they gave me a box of chocolates, I'd be a little bit like, I will eat the chocolates and I will enjoy the chocolates and I will have diarrhea, but would it be exactly like something that, yeah, I don't know. But like, I feel like you always have to put on this big show of a reaction because you want them to be happy with your reaction and you want to make them happy, and they've probably had a lot of anxiety buying you a present, so you want to be like, hey, it's okay, it was great, thank you for your effort. But you know, that's a whole other thing of like people staring at you. And sometimes I do love the food. However, sometimes it's just a lot of Anxiety as well, especially now that I am going to my boyfriend's house. I will take my lactose pills for sure because I don't want anybody to change up their menu for me. Especially if it's something like a traditional food that they eat and it does contain lactose. Like, I'm not about to be like, don't make it because I'm lactose intolerant, or like, I want to be able to participate in those traditions. But sometimes it is difficult when you just can't control the food that you eat, or you get stuffed and you just feel uncomfortable. So sometimes that's super annoying. But it is the holidays, so I feel like getting stuffed is just a requirement and something that makes me very happy. I would gladly get stuffed on some good Christmas food. Not gonna lie, I will gladly pump up my body. I just heard something, sorry. I would gladly pump up my body with lactose pills just for the food. Period. Oh my god. Don't even. Why are you. My notes are making me mad. Having exams right after the holidays, that is what I have to say about that. As well as literally a presentation, an essay, a clip, and homework. But thankfully, I have online class for the last week, so I can stay a week longer at home. But like all of that piled onto each other, I'm just like, you have the audacity to do that to me right now. Like, I just finished. Can this guy just open his motorbike, please? It's making noises and it's really distracting. I really hope you can't hear that because I can, and it's not great. But it's, yeah, just the fact that exams are right after and I have to study for that. And it's, today we were talking about the exam and I was just like, guys, my brain is still processing 2016. Can we please not talk about this right now? I just want to see Santa and get my shit together. Okay, I don't have it right now. I do not have my shit right now. And I guess the whole thing with that is that when I do have a break, I suffer with the lazy feeling. And that's the whole reason why I get so burned out so often, because I don't like feeling unproductive and lazy. Capitalism. I don't like feeling like that. So it's sometimes really difficult to give yourself a break, especially if you're used to like every day go go go. Giving yourself a break sometimes feels like, oh god, I'm supposed to be doing something, but you're not. You're supposed to be relaxing and having a holiday. Like, that's what they're for, is for relaxing and recuperating. And you'll never truly restore your energy in your mental capacity and your overall physical capacity if you don't catch a break. Like, we deserve this break. We're deserving people no matter what. So don't think that you have to be this super, super productive person all the time just so that you deserve good things. We all deserve a break, or we all have our own circumstances that tire us out and make us feel bad. So it's good to at least have one time where you feel like you can just breathe and not have to think about all of the things you have to do. Yeah, I made a little list because I didn't want to think about them, but I still wanted to have them, all my assignments laid out, just to know when I do get back into it, okay, what's the first thing that I have to do? What's the second thing? Just so that I already have that structure in mind and I don't have to spend even more time thinking about it. And I guess when you go back home, you have to plan in to see everybody. And I'm so excited and I miss all of my friends so much. But it's always like, oh God, like, I have to now plan time for everybody, because if you see one person, you don't see the other person, then they can get upset. And it's also like, well, I want to see this person because I miss them. Yeah, I just don't have enough. Obviously, I live very far away, so I don't have the time and the opportunity to see my friends as often as I want to. And it's definitely a priority for me to see them when I can. And I'm hopefully going to do that, but it's just the whole planning and the scheduling and trying to make them feel like, hey, I do care about you. Like, I haven't forgotten about you. And it's quite a bit of things. And also kind of like, oh, now I saw them, but then I have to leave again. Kind of sad. I can already imagine my pain leaving my parents and my boyfriend and coming back here to do my exams. I'm just not looking forward to that. But I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to have a good break. and I'm gonna try to be as just in the moment as possible so that I can truly savor every second of it. Um, Traveling during the holidays, bruh. I'm traveling tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 23rd. It's a Friday. I don't have any words. I don't have any words because I'm going on a train that's usually already super busy outside of the holidays on Fridays. And now it's the day before Christmas Eve, and I'm going to be traveling home 2 hours and 30 minutes with the train. And if I don't find a seat, I'm going to be like on the floor. I don't care. I'm going to sit on the floor because I'm not about to stand for 2 hours and 25 minutes. And I have a podcast to edit and upload. That's what I'm gonna do in the train. I mean, I have 2 hours. It takes me 30 minutes, so I might as well just do something. I will bring a book. I'm getting a Kindle for Christmas. There's so many things I want to talk about. I'm getting a Kindle for Christmas. I'm so excited. I like physical books more, for sure, absolutely. However, I do travel quite a lot, home and back and forth and stuff like that. So I feel like a Kindle is lightweight, easy to carry. I can read it at night. It has like light and shit. And it's just like a lot of books in one. So like if I don't want to read this genre, or if I don't want to read this book right now, I can read another book. And they're generally less expensive ebooks. So just a myriad of reasons why I want an ebook, e-reader, Kindle. So I'm super excited, and I can finally, bring my books with me on the train and not have to worry about space issues, because the Kindle is literally this thin, paper thin. It's called the paper white. So, me during the winter holidays. The paleness. I'm so pale. If you know that video, I love you. And lastly, the cold. I've been suffering from. I'm like, I am gonna get hypothermia like multiple times. I'm just like, wow, I don't feel my toes. Fun. And I'm in the north, so it's a little bit worse. Thankfully, it's gotten a little bit warmer, but that also means rainier. There's just a lot of things to think about with this weather. The weather is never amazing here, but like, hello, right now it's horrible. It's like, it was -2, I think 2 weeks ago or something. That was like genuinely unbearable. My radiator was working full time. She was paying the bills. She was making that moolah. She was working full time. Mom with kids who works two jobs. I forgot that song, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it was fucking cold. And that's what I hate about this whole season. But I've gotten some good hats, some good scarves, and some good gloves. And honestly, you can truly accessorize with that. And it also makes you feel super cozy. So even if you're dying in style. Die in style. And something to think about during this Christmas season, not only about the anxiety and not only about, ooh, I'm getting gifts, or, ooh, the Christmas lights. I think it's also important to talk about some funny memories maybe, and also kind of reflect on Christmas, because I feel very grateful every year on Christmas for the family that I have, for the friends that I have, for the traditions that I have, my heritage, my nationality, but also just having Christmas and loving Christmas. It's sometimes, things are hard and mental health is not amazing, and any other parts of life are not really amazing. So having a dedicated holiday to just happiness and trying to be happy, it really helps me a lot, and I'm very happy. Brain fog. I'm just very grateful that there is such a holiday and that I can actually celebrate it the way I want to, with loving people that I love and who love me. And it's a rare thing, it's not something you should just take for granted. But I do want to say 2 stories that I have from previous Christmases. First one was, it's super short. Both of them are pretty short. I think I was like, 8 or something, and I went to my grandparents when I used to go to my grandparents for Christmas. I miss it so much. But I was so excited, But I think something upset me during the day. I was a very sensitive child, and I still am a little, like, I'm pretty sensitive, but I was a very sensitive child. So I think something upset me during the day, but then I got super happy and super excited for the Christmas presents and Christmas. And when I was a kid, every time that I would get a lot of emotions really fast, or just jumping from emotion to emotion, my nose would bleed. Like, I would get nosebleeds from being too excited. So, I was super, super excited for Christmas and for Santa to come and everything. My nose started bleeding profusely. Like, I was swallowing blood. I'm so sorry if you can't handle this talk, but I was just, it was profuse. Like, it was so much. I was like, where is this coming from? Am I bleeding out? Like, I need surgery. And I was just like, LOL, I'm fine. Because at that point, I wasn't really scared of nosebleeds. I never really was. I guess they were just like a thing, and I was like, okay, fine. A lot of the kids like primary school got nosebleeds, so I wasn't really scared, and I never was scared of blood or anything, so I was pretty cool with it. But everybody around me was just like, "Are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nah, I just got a little excited." And they were like, "Excuse me." The second story is good. It was, I think it was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and obviously we would all sit around the table. This was my grandparents as well. We would all sit around the table, and the kids and the adults would be on the same table. So all the adults had either a glass of wine or whiskey or beer. But at one point, we finished dinner, and they finished their drinks, and they stood up to go on the balcony and have a cigarette. And obviously, I wouldn't join them because I wasn't smoking. I was like 5, or I think it was 4, 3 or 4. But instead, I was just left alone on the dining table, and I look around me. This is alleged because obviously I don't remember this. I look around me, and all of the glasses with alcohol had just like a drop left, because they weren't like licking every part of the glass. There's always like just a little bit left, very tiny amounts, minuscule. But my big brain decided, I want to try this. Everybody's drinking it. Why can I not drink it? So I drank all of the little bits that were left in each glass. And mind you, there's like 10 people in this house. So 10 little sips for a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old is a lot of sips. And my parents, they said that everybody came back in. They finished their cigarette. They come into the room, and they just see me dancing really weirdly under the Christmas tree, like laughing and going crazy. And then they look over to the dining table, and they realize that their glasses are a little bit emptier than they used to be. And they were like, oh my God, is our child drunk? So yeah, that was my first drinking experience. What led to alcoholism? I'm kidding. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting that I was very intrigued by alcohol at such a young age. I guess I just felt it in my bones. It was my Eastern European genetics that really, really made the connection there. I want to talk about some Christmas traditions though, because I love me some Christmas traditions. I'm going to talk about Bulgarian traditions, or at least the Bulgarian traditions of my house, because I don't know if they differ. I haven't lived in Bulgaria for 12 years, so give me a break. But we always have sarmi, which is delectable, but it's basically rice, usually rice, onion, stuff like that, maybe minced meat, but usually it's vegan slash vegetarian, because technically we're supposed to eat vegan slash vegetarian on Christmas Eve. Don't ask me why. I don't know it to that extent. I know what the traditions are. Don't ask me why. So we would have a lot of vegan stuff, vegetarian stuff, but usually they would eat it with yogurt. And it's basically, rice filled with a lot of seasoning, a lot of vegetables, stuff like that, covered in a pickled piece of lettuce. So it's kind of like a lettuce wrapped in lettuce type of thing. And it's so good. And then you open it. It's like, some of them are huge. I love to get the huge ones. Some of them are huge. And you put some on your plate, you open them up. The pickliness of the lettuce versus the rice, and the flavor of the rice is just so good. Like the flavor profile is immaculate. And then if you add yogurt with it, like just plain yogurt, nothing crazy, it adds a certain freshness to it. It kind of neutralizes the taste. It's delicious. I love it. We also make sure to have odd numbers of foods on the dining table. Again, do not ask me why. I don't know. I will ask though. I want to ask because now I'm intrigued. I used to just take it like, oh, okay, but like now it's like, oh, but why though? We also had a loaf. It's pretty much the most basic form of bread, like the type the peasants used to make in early Victorian England or something. It's just flour, eggs, water, uh, whatever else baking powder, like whatever else you put in bread. I couldn't tell you, I've never made it. And then you like knead it super, super, super much. It's genuinely a workout to make that bread because it's a huge loaf. But before you put it in the oven, however, there's a lot of flour in this process. Before you put that in the oven, you take a coin, you wrap it in foil so that obviously the metals and the bread doesn't mix, and so the coin, whatever, you wrap it in foil. You shove it into the dough. Thank you. You shove it into the dough, and then you put that bad boy to cook in the oven. Once it's out of the oven, oh my god, it's so good. I'm already dreaming. Salivating even. Once it's out of the oven, you cut the bread into a specific amount of pieces based on the amount of family members in your house. You always have one for Mother Mary, a piece for Mother Mary, a piece for the house. These 2 pieces you can eat at a later date, but just for the sake of Christmas Eve, Mother Mary and the house gets a piece of bread. And then from oldest to youngest, you get a piece of bread each. Whoever gets the coin is having a prosperous year. And I love the little surprise. I think I've gotten the coin once or twice before, but it's always super exciting to see who's going to have a prosperous year. Then we also have the incense. I don't know if it's incense technically. Don't, because I have no clue what it is. But it's in this like weird cup-shaped pot. It's so small. It's like this. It looks like a genie bottle without the top. And you light it, and then smoke comes out like incense, and then you do this around the house, and you like kind of pray, or just make sure everything's lucky or whatever, good vibes, I guess. And you go around your entire house and you say how we all want health and prosperity and happiness, and then you say some random shit like, oh, I want good grandkids, or I hope my kids pass school this year. So, things that you want for the year, basically. And I think the power of God at Christmas Eve will, yes. But it is fun to watch, and I'm excited for my boyfriend to see that because I don't think I've told him about it. I don't think he's prepared for it. So it's definitely funny to see his reaction about that. Also, it's in Bulgarian, so he won't understand a fucking word, but I will be translating. Not that my parents don't speak English, but the whole thing is that they say it in Bulgarian because it's about whatever, you know what I mean. And it's easier just for my mom to repeat the same thing she said for over 30 years, 26 years. And my mom is 50, but obviously kids happened earlier, like later in her life. Thank you. And then the next day we feast. This is a feast already, but the next day we really feast. Mommy wakes up at like 6 a.m. in the morning. When I was at my grandpa's house, he woke up at 5. And you have this big ass lamb. Usually it's lamb. And this is Christmas lunch. So you prepare the lamb, you stuff it with a bunch of shit. Sometimes, honestly, I think it's liver, like really small pieces of liver, which that I can eat. Big pieces of liver, but small pieces, okay, fine, I'll eat it. In rice, so there's rice filled with little bits of liver, vegetables, a lot of spices as always. I think minced meat. I have to double check on Christmas Day. I'll let you know. And then you stuff the turkey with that rice mixture. Turkey. Oh my god. Stuff the lamb with the rice mixture, and then I don't know how they cook it, but they cook it for a very long time. Like we're talking, the preparation takes like, well, until lunchtime, so 6 hours, or 7 hours. That's like slow cooking, slow roasting, and then when it finally comes out, the lamb is like tender and almost reddish in color, and it's so juicy and delicious. Like you have to take it out periodically out of the oven to like reapply the juices from the bottom and everything. I think there's also potatoes. But the skin of the lamb is so crispy and delicious and juicy. Like it's the best meat I have all year. Second best, if you know what I mean. Delicious stuff. And there's also this like pudding of sorts. I think it's like rice, raisins, stuff like that. Me and my mom love it. My dad, my sister do not, so we eat the whole thing, and I'm very excited. I'm obviously incredibly happy about that. Less for them, more for me, I say. And lastly, the funniest thing, I was talking to my boyfriend, and he was like, "Yeah, and for the second day of Christmas, we're gonna celebrate at my dad's house." And I was like, "What do you mean, second day of Christmas?" And he's like, "The 26th." And I was like, "26th? You celebrate the 26th?" And he's like, "Yeah, the second day of Christmas. It's Dutch. It's everybody in Holland does it." And I'm like, I've lived here for 12 years and I never realized that Dutch people had a second day of Christmas. I thought it was just Christmas Day, but they were weird about it. They get to celebrate an extra day. Jealousy, 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 jealousy. I don't celebrate shit on the 26th. The 26th means nothing. My mom makes pancakes because she's not at work, but like that's the beauty, that's it. But yeah, it's funny. Who else celebrates the 26th? Because now I'm like confused and why don't I have that? Huh? What's going on, Orthodox Christians? Come on. We want an extra day of Christmas, please. But yeah, that was my Christmas rant, Christmas talk, Christmas discussion. If you have any fun traditions, please comment down below. I love hearing about traditions. The thing I love about this place being so international is that you can hear about so many different traditions and cultures. Learning more about Hanukkah as well from people who don't celebrate Christmas, and learning about other religions who don't celebrate Christmas, about their, during that time, what they do, what they celebrate, if they celebrate anything. It's just really fun to hear. So I thought I would share my Bulgarian Christmas with you guys. And that was that. I'm excited to go to bed and pack for tomorrow and do my laundry. Oh my god. But I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're listening to this. Happy holidays. I hope you have a wonderful break. I hope you have an amazing time. Happy New Year. Safe trips, safe travels if you're going anywhere. And I'm just wishing you the most amazing time for the end of the year. And take it easy. Give yourself a break. You deserve it. And I love you. And yeah, I hope everything's going great with you guys. I will see you next year. I'm not funny.